Howdy, y'all. It is Cody from the Keeper's Nerdum. How you doing? Apparently, we've finally gotten some 10th edition Necrons Warhammer 40k stuff. I wanted to run through it because I've gotten to look through a bit of it, but I really wanted to react a bit on it and give you some thoughts over it because Necrons are my bread and butter. Absolutely love them, and I'm intrigued to see what they're going to become intense. So let's go through this. Obviously, artwork that we've already seen, and I'm really excited to just go through this stuff. So first thing we get is the reanimation protocols. So let's go through here. If your army faction is Necrons at the end of your command phase, each unit from your army with this ability activates its reanimation protocols and reanimates D3 wounds. Each time such a unit reanimates a wound, two things happen. First off, if that unit contains one or more models with fewer than their starting number of wounds remaining, select one of those models. That model regains one lost wound. So you heal up first thing any wounds that are missing. So if you have something damaged, like in a group of, say, Locust Destroyers, they heal first. Then, if all models in that unit have their starting number of wounds, but that unit is not at starting strength, one destroyed model is returned to that unit with one wound remaining. So you use one of those heals to bring back a model. Once such a unit is at its starting strength and all of its models have their starting number of wounds, nothing further happens. So if you get down to the second thing and bring one back, then you go back to the top thing if you still have more D3 wounds, and you can keep healing that one. So what they have done is put living metal and reanimation protocols in together. Actually totally like that. Fantastic, because it actually allows for the benefit to go off on both sides, both resurrection and healing, and it's possible to actually get models back that have multiple wounds. I like that. The thing I don't like here is when this happens at the end of your command phase, period. So it doesn't trigger off of damage in any way, like directly as it used to. That if you were hit in the charge or fight, or sorry, shooting phase? What was it called? Oh my goodness. Well, shooting phase and then the fight phase, if you were damaged at that point, then you got to activate every time after a unit was done firing at you or charge and fighting you. As this is stated, this is a powerful ability. However, because of timing, it's not good in the sense that, okay, normally Necron Warriors squad gets shot at by some Space Marines, squad of 10. They survive, with 5 left of the 20. They had a really good shooting round, example. We then roll reanimation protocols and get 6 back. Put them back on the board. Our choice where, within unit coherency. This is good. This is what it should be. And now it's going to be Unit 1 fires at you. Unit 2 fires at you. Unit 3 fires at you. And then in the charge phase, another whole squad charges you and kills you. No reaction so far that we can see to help that. That is my concern. This makes it so much weaker for Necron Warriors. It makes it stronger for squads if they survive. For squads like Locust Destroyers, Locust Heavy Destroyers, that kind of stuff. Even Tomb Blades, it could be more useful. But they have to survive. That's the problem. Scarab Swarms, they're not going to hang in because you can lose 4 or 5 Scarabs really fast, even in one round of shooting or charge, and not get to have, bring 1 back, bring 2 back before something else gets to shoot at you. See what I mean? Like, there is a problem here. There is a serious concern. This preview is just very limited. What did I do here? Yes, I understand. There we go. Okay. Well, let's continue on. So I like the concept of how this functions, but I don't like the timing of how it functions because it's really, really... okay. So, yeah. So, Necron Awakened Dynasty Detachment Rule. What a confusing, interesting thing, because now some of these overarching big concepts are going to be limited down to detachment rules. So if you take a detachment, you just select what kind of detachment type it is. So command protocols here It's an Awakened Dynasty. While a Necron's character model is leading this unit, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. So obviously we're going to get characters that do go into these sections. All right. So it just gives you an extra thing for your Necron's character to give. But it's really going to be bizarre because we are limited on what we're going to be able to do. I don't know. I'm so intrigued by this one. So add 1 to the hit roll. And again, really cool, really strong. I like it. Does that mean some of these other abilities that we've had before are going away? What are we going to be limited to because of this? I just don't know. So we have another Protocol of the Hungry Void. This is actually, so we had command protocols of Awakened Dynasty detachment rule, and this is Awakened Dynasty Battle Tactics Stratagem Protocol of the Hungry Void. So it looks like at some level we're going to have just stratagems that are connected to Awakened Dynasties or some other concept here. I don't know. I'm really intrigued exactly how this is going to work with each other. So you use this for 1 CP in the fight phase. Target 1 Necron's unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. So something that hasn't fought yet. In effect, until the end of the phase, add 1 of the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in your unit. In addition, if a Necron's character is leading your unit until the end of the phase, improve the AP of characteristics of melee weapons equipped by your models in your unit by 1. But this is so interesting because a Necron's character, like joining a Scorpic Destroyer squad or joining Ophidian Destroyers or even Canoptic Wraiths, what is that going to do for things? Like that's so fascinating what that's going to do for us. Yeah, like this gives both sides of it if you get the Necron's character present with this. That's the one thing I'm actually a little bit hesitant about, is because the Necron's characters are going to make everything cost more than they used to. Now, granted, those characters we're already potentially taking in other things, so technically, no, it doesn't actually cost anything extra, except that specific unit now is going to have extra cost associated with it. That gives me a little bit of pause or concern, I guess, but it's also, these characters like a Technomancer, a Chronomancer, an Overlord, a Royal Warden, these kind of things we were going to take anyway, but now they're going to be tied directly into a group and not be able to affect anything else on the battlefield. The one good thing is they can really help quite a bit. Let's just go down here really fast. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, so first unit that we get to see after this is the Monolith. Let's go through it here. So you can replace 4 of the Gauss Flux Arcs with 4 Death Rays. That's cool. Yeah. This model is equipped with 4 Gauss Flux Arcs, a Particle Whip, and Portal of Exile. So that's the typical, but you can just flip it over to Death Rays, which I think is the right thing to do, period. Even in the new stuff. So movement of 7, toughness 14, save is 2+, wounds are 20, so it's down from, I believe, 24. Leadership is 7+, and objective control is 8. And side note, let's go down here really quickly. Damaged 1 to 7 wounds remaining. Well, this model has 1 to 7 wounds remaining. Subtract 4 from its objective control characteristics. So it isn't necessarily battle shocked, but even if it's not battle shocked, it's going to lose half of its objective control. Okay, and each time this model makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. All right, so it goes up to a 4+. So it doesn't get as wounded as it used to. That's good. That's great. So yeah, let's go through a few things here. Abilities: Deadly Demise 6. So that's, or Deadly Demise D6, which is like it's blowing up, and on a D6, I believe, still kind of similar thing there. Deep Strike, it's the ability for it to jump over and land certain places, or it could just be its Deep Strike. It's referencing the thing that it now has where it not in reserves, but it's in reserves, and then it comes down on the board on turn 2 or later and goes nutty. Faction has Reanimation protocol, so it's going to heal itself every turn, which now is stronger with the Living Metal ability built into this. Like, this thing's just going to keep healing if you don't kill it in turn 1, in 1 turn. In the reinforcement steps, Eternity Gate. In the reinforcement steps of your movement phase, you can select 1 Necron's infantry unit from your army that is either in reserves or on the battlefield. If you select the latter, remove that unit from the battlefield and place it into reserves. That unit is then set up anywhere on the battlefield that is wholly within 6 inches of this model and not within engagement range of any enemy models. That unit cannot declare a charge this turn. You can teleport anything Necrons infantry wise to this bad dog and set it back up on the battlefield around it. Like, we've had this before, but it could be in reserves or on the battlefield. It's just built in either option, and it didn't have both options initially. It's had, let me look. That's going to bother me. This is cool. Like, this is bizarre. The only limitation here is it can't charge after doing this. Sad day. I will pause in this because it could change based on maybe a certain unit gets a special ability that goes, it can still charge after being teleported on an eternity gate or something. So don't be surprised if that shows up randomly and all of a sudden we take one specific thing with a monolith with this ability. So this is already fascinating because, side note, I love using the void, my goodness, Veil of Darkness to teleport my Necron Warriors over in and blast somebody right in their face. Well, you can't charge, but what would be really fun is getting the Monolith to teleport over somewhere, just move nearby, and then bring an entire Necron Warriors thing around it to surround it to keep it safe from charges, and with their leader as well present with them, and they just blow everything away. Right? The Monolith fires, the Necron Warriors fire. This is nutty. I wish we knew what the points value on this thing was going to be, because this is not helpful. Just not knowing, right? Eternity Gate used to be Dynasty core infantry unit from your army that is in strategic reserve, so it had to be in strategic reserves. They even took out strategic out of the wording there. That's interesting. Good. And set that unit up anywhere on the battlefield that's wholly within 3 inches of this model and not within engagement range of any enemy models. Models and units that are set up using this ability cannot count as having moved a distance in each inches equal to their move characteristic in the movement phase. So, but in your movement phase, if this model remains stationary, then in the reinforcement stuff that phase, you can summon a unit. Okay, so the Monolith had to remain stationary for it to use it in this. The new Eternity Gate, there's no movement penalty. Like, this is straight up a transport. Jeez. This thing's going to have some interesting interactions. So let's go through its weapons. Gauss Flux Arc, let's do it first, because lethal hits on 6s, it auto wounds. Rapid fire 3, so within half, it gets another 3 shots, I believe, something like that. So it has 3 attacks with each one of those, so it would have 12 shots. Possibly 24. Jeez. At 3 up to hit, strength 6, -1 AP for 1 damage. The current ones are rapid fire 3, so it doubled to 6 anyway. Strength 5, -2 AP, 1 damage. So the AP went down. The range is down to 30 inches from 24. Or it was 30 inches, now it's down to 24. Death Rays. Range is 24, and the range is still 24. One attack here. They were heavy, and sustained hits. I don't remember what sustained hits does. Sustained hits. I don't know. I'll have to look that up later. I'm guessing it. I think sustained hits was the bonus to, like, other people attacking it after the fact. That's interesting. So let's look this up really quickly. Sustained hits. Sustained hits 40k. Shuriken Cannon picks up sustained hits. That's what it was. Sure, accept the cookies. Alright, I just want to see the sustained hits. Okay. Sustained hits in their profile are known as sustained hits weapon. Each time an attack is made with such a weapon, if a critical hit is rolled, that attack scores a number of additional hits on the target as denoted by X. So, and critical hits, from everything we can tell, are 6s. So, sustained hits D3. Holy cow. So you get 4 shots because you have to switch over to the death ray, so you get 4 of them. And if even one of those rolls a 6, you get to have a whole extra slew of hits. Oh my goodness. The Monolith, depending on the point value, is just going to be disgusting. So the death ray originally was 3-ups to hits initially, you know, and they always would be, but this is always a 3-up. And then it got weaker as the Monolith got damaged, and this is slightly different there. The original was Strength 9, minus 3 AP, D3 plus 3 damage. This is Strength 12, minus 4 AP. So the AP actually went up with D6 plus 1 damage. The D3 plus 3 damage I like better than this, right? Because the guaranteed damage minimum on the death rays on the Monolith were 4, period. This Monolith has a damage value of 2 minimum, max of 7, and the other one had a max of 6. So higher damage potential, but also lower damage potential. Higher damage potential by 1, lower damage potential by 2. Don't like that very much, but I do like the death rays on this pretty well, because when they hit their minus 4 AP, they're going to go through. They're gonna hit. Just the question of how much damage is actually going through. That one moment you roll the 6 and you do 7 damage straight through on something, it's going to hurt. And if you have a sustained hits even go off one time in a game, they're going to remember it, right? It's going to be bad. Because, again, each time an attack is made with such a weapon, a critical hit is rolled, that attack scores a number of additional hits on the target is done by X. My goodness. That's a lot of hits. That's a lot of extra damage potential. Man, at one time you roll 2 6s. Whew. Nasty. Okay, sorry. Just, that's so exciting. Particle Whip, Blast. Obviously can't use it in close combat. Lethal hits is if you roll a 6 on your attack roll, you auto wound on the Gauss Flux Arc. But Devastating Wounds. Devastating Wounds, let's find that again. Weapons with Devastating Wounds in their profile are known as Devastating Wounds weapons. Each time an attack is made with such a weapon, a critical wound inflicts a number of mortal wounds on the target equal to the damage characteristic of that weapon, and the attack sequence ends. Okay, and so that's a wound roll, so a critical wound roll. So you have to get into the critical, not a critical hit, but a critical wound. So a 6 on critical wounds, and so they turn them to mortal wounds for that specific version. So the original Particle Whip was how much range? 36 inch. They've dropped it down to 24. That's sad. It was a heavy D6. This thing is 3 D6s of attacks. So minimum 3 attacks, maximum 18. So the original one was minimum 1, maximum of 6. This is minimum 3, max of 18. Monolith is just scary. My gosh. All right. Ballistic skill 3+. And that's kind of the same-ish. You know, obviously a little different. The original one was a strength 12. This thing is a strength 8. So the Particle Whip on the 9th edition Monolith was stronger than the Death Rays. Minus 1 AP on the Particle Whip with 2 damage, and the original, or the 9th edition one, was minus 3 AP with 3 damage. So this thing has way less AP, 1 less damage, way less strength, but the amount of attack potential is insane. I like this one actually way better. This is fascinating. Portal of Exile. This is a really sad one, because the 9th edition one, it just had each time an attack is made with this weapon, that attack auto hits the target. Period. And the attacks that it had starting out was 6, and it would go down as this thing got damaged. This thing will always have 6 attacks with this. That's cool. The weapon skill is 2+, so it only fails on a 1. You never had to roll with the original one, so that was the big thing here. And it was, the strength was user, which was 8, so strength has stayed the same. The AP was minus 3 and damage was 3. This is minus 2 with 3 damage. So you get 6 attacks. There's no guaranteed hit here. Weapon skill 2, so you only fail on 1s. But you have to make a wound roll afterwards too. I mean, you still had to make a wound roll with the Portal of Exile as well. It's just, you just lose the auto hit and the AP is down by 1. It's just worse. Not terrible by any means, but it is worse. Yeah. Weird. Okay, so we've done that. I think the Monolith is going to be a scary thing, especially with those death rays. And then the Portal of Exile, they're going to be like, so wait, how many shots are going at me? And you go, 12 from the Particle Whip. And that's not even a high roll, right? And then the next time it rolls, you go, I'm shooting you with 5. Just crazy, weird. Whew, I like it. This is where the game gets bizarre, though. Okay, Necron Warriors, 5-inch movement, 4 toughness, nothing new there. 4 sit plus save, 1 wound, nothing new. The leadership 7+. I'm gonna just hold judgment on this because it seems really scarily weak, but we're probably gonna have to just put a leader with them, and this is gonna change whatever the character that's with them is. Objective control for each model is 2. They're gonna be disgusting on that. The abilities, reanimation protocols, where we looked at, their number is Legion. Each time the student's reanimation protocols activate, it reanimates D6 wounds instead of D3, unless it's within range of an objective marker you control, in which case it reanimates D3 plus 3 wounds instead. So minimum 4, maximum 6 units coming back. That's insane. The problem is, again, the timing issue. There's so many weapons, especially just to a 4 toughness unit. Granted, the AP is going down by 1 for a lot of things, but still, I'm concerned about this. I don't know that this is a good thing. This is not a good sign. Keywords: infantry, battle line, Necron Warriors. I just because of how long it takes to get to this, you may not see it. The only saving grace is you're going to have a character in here with them, which might hold them out, which would be really kind of a funny thing to think about. Like, all your Necron Warriors die, and the character keeps them alive technically, so you keep spawning them back off of a character potentially. The other thing I'm just so curious about with the game is, are they going to rule that if you use the toughness of a character, say you had a character with toughness 5, do you take the wounds off of the character, or do you just get to take wounds off the Necron Warriors? You see what I mean? I'm really intrigued on what's going to happen there, because the moment that they do that, or they have a character with an invuln save that joins into this group, that comes into this group, all of a sudden you've got a serious issue of, okay, if you use that invuln save, does the character have to take those wounds, or can it just keep going to the Necron Warriors? Because that's messed up. I mean, granted, it's kind of worked that way anyway because of the character going, you have a 5+ invuln save, and if the character goes, they all have a 5+ invuln save, well, then it doesn't matter, we move on. But melee weapons, close combat weapon. I love how they do that with the Necrons. They're like, we don't know what this is. Melee, one attack, 4+ weapon skill. This is the thing that's driving me up the wall. Ballistic skill, weapon skill. Notice it. 4+. 4+. We are at 4+. Yay, 4. So obviously that Awakened Dynasty. Nope, go back. Gummit. That Awakened Dynasty up here of leading a unit each time a Monolith student makes attack, add 1 to the hit roll. Okay, that's cool. So these are going to be 3+ as long as you have a character with them. But the problem with that is, then we were boosting them to a possible 2+ sometimes with some of our leaders. Now we can't do that, which maybe they're doing that on purpose. Okay, so we'll have a 3+, but still, it just annoys me that now we're kind of just tied to this must have a character in here, otherwise they just kind of suck on their shooting and their melee, which their melee always was terrible. Strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, nothing new there. So Gauss Flare, 24 inches, rapid fire 1, so it gets bonus when you're in half and you get to fire another shot. Lethal hits, so if you roll a 6 on your hit, it auto wounds. Cool. Does that does that really mitigate this ballistic skill 4? I just don't think it does. 1 attack, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, AP 0. AP 0, damage 1. Gauss Reaper, lethal hit, same thing. On 6s, you auto wound. Cool. 12-inch range, so we still have that terrible, stupid 12-inch range, but I guess the Monolith can teleport us over, so cool. 2 attacks, nothing new there. Ballistic skill 4+, so we're worse. Strength 5, same thing. AP -1 down from -2. And 1 damage. You know, nothing too crazy there. They're not going to survive long enough to see their reanimation work. It's like they fixed it for bigger, tougher units. And then the Necron Warriors and the other stuff that's small, they're not going to survive. The only way I can see it, and I wish they would give us here, what's the unit size? If they are now going to allow Necron Warriors to go to 30, all of a sudden everything changes. The conversation changes drastically. It does. Because the moment all of a sudden the Necron Warriors can go to 30, they can just hang into a fight so much longer than anyone ever had any thought of, right? That's my thoughts. So we'll see. It's the only thing I'm trying to hold off on judgments fully because we aren't getting the full picture here. We're just not. We don't know. So we did get some other previews of the Doomsday Arcs, Doomsday Cannon. 72-inch range, so now it's just 72-inch period. D6 plus 1 attacks, so guaranteed 2 attacks. Maximum 7. That's better than just a D6, I'll give it that. Ballistic skill 3+, okay, still not great. Strength 15, holy cow. AP -4, again, still hits like a truck. Damage 4, it's a heavy, so if it can't fire the Doomsday Cannon in melee, and it's heavy, so if you don't move, you go up to ballistic skill 2+. And in your movement phase, if this model remains stationary, overwhelming obliteration, until the end of the turn, its Doomsday Cannon has the Devastating Wounds ability. And Devastating Wounds, a critical wound inflicts a number of mortal wounds on the target equal to the damage characteristic of that weapon, and the attack sequence ends. So if you roll a 6 on your damage, or your wounding, all of a sudden it goes to 4 mortal wounds instead of 4 damage. This thing, depending on the point cost, it could be really, really cool. And I'm kind of excited because I still don't have an actual model of it yet. I'm still just running a Lego proxy for the moment, but this makes me excited because I've used it. I used it once or twice just to try it out and see what it did, and it was kind of fun, but it just wasn't great because the D6 shots was so random, and this is still random, like minimum 2 shots, but it's better than 1 shot, right? That's 100% increase on your minimum shots, which is crazy. It's so bad. Yeah, so we've got that. Man, let me confirm the heavy stuff. Yeah, heavy. Time of attack makes has such a weapon. If the attack model's unit remains stationary, turn to add 1 to that attack's hit roll. Oh my goodness. This is going to be hit on 2 ups with strength 15, AP -4. Oh my gosh. Like these, it's crazy. The Monolith's going to be scary. This thing's going to be scary. We're in a whole different game now. And I'm kind of excited for that. That's cool. That's a good thing. So last little preview here. Spear of the Void Dragon. I don't even know what to do here. Anti-vehicle. I don't know exactly what that means. Some people are already like explaining it like they already knew. And I was like, how did they find this out? Because I don't remember seeing anything that said anti-vehicle. I don't know what's causing that. So you have 2 options here that you can take. You have to select one of the profiles to make attacks with. Strike is the big, apparently anti-vehicle, 2+, so maybe it goes up in strength. I don't know if it's against a vehicle. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it's something like that. It just gets stronger against vehicles or does some more damage or something. 5 attacks, 2 up weapon skill, strength 12, -3 AP, damage is D6 + 2, so minimum 3 damage, maximum 8. There's still so much swinginess in here, but I do enjoy that they're at least going, okay, we recognize there's some swinginess, and we're going to give some guaranteed damage here. That's good. the sweep, so it's a more lots of hits. 10 attacks, so double the attacks, 3 up weapon skill, strength 8, -1 AP, 2 damage. Definitely more for fighting the horde units, and we don't know anything about, you know, their not psychic powers. I do hope those stay, but I'm afraid they're just gonna go the way of the psychic stuff with everybody else. It'll be sad. So yeah, I think, yep, that's it. We've gone through all of the stuff. I'm excited for more previews because the moment we start getting characters, this really starts taking on a whole nother dynamic of this is so much bigger than what we think. I am so excited to see what we get. Right, this was good. This was an interesting start to whet the appetite, but it's concerning because not having the whole picture, and then you see things like the Necron Warriors, that ballistic skill 4 up just makes you so frustrated. We lost Assault also on the Gauss Reaper, and what did we gain for it? Well, we gained lethal hits, but the Gauss Slayer gained that too. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this, and it concerns me. I am excited that I have more Necron Warriors that I happen to just get, and I didn't really want them. But now, seeing this, I do have a little bit of hope that maybe Necron Warriors go up to 30. Because all of a sudden that will make them much tankier because there'll just be so many more of them. But the fact that they just don't reanimate right then and there really irritates me. And who knows, maybe we will get a hero or a character that goes in with them and goes, as soon as they are damaged, after that unit is done firing or meleeing, go do your reanimation protocols immediately. It's kind of doubt it, but if it does, all of a sudden that becomes an auto-include in this group, right? Whew. Lots to think about. So overall, this Protocol of Hungry Void, I like this. Just a CP stratagem. That's fantastic. That's pretty cool. It's gonna be helpful there. The command protocols, detachment rule, I just don't know, because if we have to choose between some options, this could get really dicey really fast. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Yeah. Monolith looks scary as all get out. Necron Warriors, yeah. Jury's really out on them right now. Doomsday Cannon on the Doomsday arc looks fantastic and scary. Spear of the Void Dragon, I don't know. It feels like I'm just looking at a slightly different version of the Nightbringer's claws. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. I think Warhammer 40k is in an interesting spot, and man, we are definitely getting some pretty exciting stuff. I've been Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom. I hope you've enjoyed getting to talk through some Necron stuff, and please let me know down in the comments below what you're excited about, what you're looking forward to. We're into it, and this is fascinating stuff. But let me know your thoughts. And I've been Cody, and it's been great hanging out with you guys, talking through some epic stuff here tonight. Take care and have a good one. Bye, y'all.